Evening and welcome to the Tyngsborough School Committee meeting, Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, here at the Tyngsborough High School PDC room. My name is Anthony Tenorella. I officially call this meeting to order, and we will start with introductions to my left.
Good evening, Bert Bushman.
Becky Stanton.
Mike Woodlock, Assistant Superintendent.
Hi, Mike Flanagan, Superintendent.
Danielle Athanas.
Ryan McMahon.
Rob Mullen.
Joe Messina, School Business Administrator.
Thank you, everyone. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the August 6th, 2024 school committee minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Aye.
Carried. Abstained? One abstained. That does still carry. And then a motion to approve the August 6th, 2024 executive session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
I abstain.
One
Danielle
abstain.
abstains.
And Danielle abstains. We still have a quorum, though, right?
402.
402. All right. Thank you, everyone. Citizens' time? Seeing none. Correspondence?
None at this time, Mr. Chair.
Seeing none. Personnel? Dr. Flanagan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We'd like to welcome new hires to the district. Samantha Dress will be teaching special education at TES. Manny McQuaid will be a TMS paraprofessional. Victoria Ryder will be a TES paraprofessional. And Kyle Whitby will also be a TES paraprofessional. We also have some resignations. I'd like to wish the best of luck to Greg Costa, middle school special education teacher, 14 years of service. Fiona Johnson, elementary school paraprofessional, over a year of service. Dominic Cementelli, facilities manager with over 4 years of service. And Jessica Shepard, TES physical education teacher with 1 year of service. Congratulations and thank you to those people for their service.
All right, thank you. Share the success.
We
Evan?
did receive notice that Evan would not be here tonight, so we'll hold off and do that at the next meeting.
All right, subcommittees, update, the superintendent evaluation subcommittee did meet tonight and discuss Dr. Flanagan's goals for this coming year, which we will actually
Discuss
touch on
later.
later in the agenda. Subcommittee policy, policy subcommittee will be meeting on September 10th. Just a reminder to everybody. Anything you want to add to that, or?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. Unfinished business, MSBA update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll jump into the slide deck at this point. Just a quick reminder about some upcoming dates. Tomorrow night, a reminder, we will meet at 5:45 at the construction trailers behind the school for a tour of the middle school. Progress is coming along nicely. Yes, they are pouring the cement concrete pads tomorrow, so the doors will be open. The front of Tyngsborough High School will be open for Monday, so rest assured we'll be good, but we'll learn more about that tomorrow night. So tour tomorrow night. We have our regular school building committee meeting tomorrow night as well. I put in here a tentative presentation schedule for our schools. I know one of the highlights at the beginning of the year for the school committee is when the kids come in and the administrators come back and present to us. So I thought it made sense this year to start with middle school and our new administrator, new principal, Mr. Meringer. So September 10th will be the middle school presentation. We have a school building committee meeting on the 18th, and then we'll go with the high school on the 24th and the elementary school for their presentation on the 8th. I've also contacted the principals of all three schools and said, again, we like to see clubs come back and different student groups come back to present to the committee, and I really encourage them to try to select different groups, so we're not hearing from the same groups each year. It was great last year when we had theater come in different groups. We heard about the chicken nuggets at the elementary school.
Yep.
So we heard some great input last year, so we will continue to have those presentations.
Have you done anything with those chicken nuggets?
That's a Mr. Messina question.
I'm right in the fridge, ready to go.
You actually did have a nice meeting, so that was
Yes,
good.
It
yeah.
was a great meeting, actually.
So,
Awesome.
important dates for families, bus routes are out there, I believe, at this point, Mr. Messina?
Yes, sir.
So everyone should know about that. New staff orientation happens tomorrow. Mr. Woodlock will touch on that a little bit later. First day for staff next Monday. Next Tuesday is first day of students grades 1 through 12, as well as kindergarten orientation. Kindergarten starts August 28th, and first day for preschool, September 4th. MSBA update, tomorrow night we have our tour, which is great. Meeting at Florence Roach Elementary School. I had the opportunity last week to tour the Florence Roach Elementary School in Groton. That job is also being performed, or the OPM for that job is also Left Field, who is our OPM. And it's ironic because it lines up almost exactly a year apart from where we are. So they started demolition in May, the year before us. So they're really essentially right, we're 1 year behind them. It was a great opportunity for me to see what a soft landing was. As we think about, the timeline for our own construction project and when this will be finished, I know that we are waiting on some timelines and some deliverables from Fontaine in November and December, but, going over to Florence Roach the other day and seeing the mad work being done at the end to get ready for the next 2 weeks, it has me somewhat concerned about an April move, if that's even on the table for our district. Florence Roach is an absolute beautiful school, and they've done a phenomenal job over there, and I'm sure it probably looks pristine today. But there are still some things that need punch list items that are going to happen right up until the day school starts. So I think the more ready the school is for students, I think the better off we as a community would be. And I think one of the things that we talk about, and we'll maybe talk about a little bit tomorrow night, school building committee, is we have that center courtyard. Well, work can't be done on that until the spring. So we have 4 wings of classes that'll be looking in on a construction site. So it almost makes more sense, we'll see where we are at the time, but it would make more sense in my head from that 30,000-foot level to say, maybe we're better off with a June move. So, but it was great to see Florence Roach and the work that's going on over there. We did have a meeting last week, Mr. Messina and myself, Left Field, and Colin Loisel and Dave Anderson from the town to really talk about the borrowing schedule. I don't know if information will be shared with the school building committee tomorrow night about that or not, but it looks like the town will be looking to borrow sometime October, November, Joe. So they're just talking real high level right now to kind of prepare for that, for the big nut on the school job. The only other thing that's really going to come up potentially tomorrow night, the school building committee meeting, will be discussions about value engineering. As you all recall, when this project had a significant financial issue, a lot of things were value engineered out of the project to keep the cost down. I think with the influx of new money from the MSBA, we'll look at where we are for contingency. There'll be a preliminary discussion about an item or two that potentially could be reconsidered by the school building committee to be put back into the project. But that'll all happen tomorrow night. So looking forward to the tour. I did not include pictures this week because I figured you're all going to be there tomorrow night walking around seeing it. So so that's where we are with the MSBA update at this time.
Awesome, thank you. And any of you that come to the tour tomorrow night, you're more than welcome to stay for the regular scheduled meeting. Teaching and learning update.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Wood.
Chair. So as Dr. Flanagan mentioned, a couple of things earlier. One of the things he wasn't on the earlier agenda was we had our administrative retreat last week. So all of the administrators in the district got together at the elementary school. We spent all day Monday and a good portion of Tuesday together, and it was really excellent time spent. We did a lot of workshopping, a lot of talking about really important fundamental ideas in leadership strategies. So some of the focal points, we did a whole workshop on teacher evaluation, observation evaluation, and calibration of what those write-ups look like. As you can imagine, one person walks into a classroom and another person walks into a classroom. Sometimes they see the same thing, sometimes they see something very different. And so that's a really healthy and useful discussion to have. And also to think, like, what does it look like when I write up an observation for a teacher compared to someone else? And where are the strengths and weaknesses in both of those? And one of the things we really want to do more of this year is calibrate that, so that we don't want it to be exactly the same because we want teachers to get different viewpoints, but we want to present our findings to them in a similar way so that they're knowing what to expect. So that calibration will be something that goes on throughout the year. We talked a lot about setting effective goals and creating systems to measure the impact of those goals. People set goals all the time. They say, yeah, we're going to do this and we want to do more of this. But is doing that actually making a difference? And so we want to go past just the output of creating a goal and doing something, but measuring, did that something actually impact the school students, teachers positively. So that's something we've been working on. That's not easy to do, that takes time, but I think we've made a lot of progress there. We talked a little bit about professional development, how we're gonna present real learning opportunities for our teachers, not, professional development for anyone that may work in the education world sometimes gets a bad rap because a lot of the things we preach that we want teachers to be doing in the classroom, when you get professional development, sometimes you get the opposite. So we want to make sure that professional development that's delivered here in Tyngsborough is worthy of our teachers' time and is going to actually engage them in the learning process. And the last thing we really worked on Tuesday all morning was updating our SDR, Strategic District Initiatives. So that's part 2. And some of the highlights there, the administrative teams in all 3 buildings are working to finalize those for the end of this week, which we'll review them and then get them up on the website for the public to see, and we'll share with you at some point, I'm sure, some of the specifics and the highlights. But we talked a lot about making sure that we focus on transitions. That's been a topic here, and when we were looking for a new middle school principal, talked about transitions a lot. How do we make it smoother for our elementary school students to work into the middle school, and not just the students, but the families? And then also, how do we make sure that our middle school students know of the great opportunities in the high school when they're making a choice of where they're going to attend, 9 through 12. So that'll be a big focus for all 3 schools, and of course, the middle schools in both of those. We talked a lot about instructional leadership, and certainly educator evaluation is part of that, but really focusing on our continued work to incorporate more inclusive practices into the Tier 1 classroom, making sure that we are preparing lessons, assessments, and everything else with all students in mind. And we know that our students vary, incredibly from one to another, even if it may not seem so on the outside. So I want to make sure that that inclusive practice is at the forefront of all we do in the classroom. And lastly, really a continuation of last year is establishing a stronger data culture. And that goes along with making, what we talked about with setting goals, making sure that they're measurable, and we can actually identify whether or not the goals we set have a positive impact on students. So that's something that doesn't happen once in a while, that has to happen continuously. And that's a process too. So those are the big highlights from that. Dr. Flanagan also talked about, we have new staff orientation that happens tomorrow. Excuse me, we don't have a huge number of people coming in, but lately we've had some people leave, so it's getting larger. But we'll do what we typically do. We have a lot of time scheduled for them to meet with Mr. Messina in case there's any paperwork that hasn't been done. They need to meet with Mr. Piper and the tech staff to make sure they have their laptops and their email works and all of that. Mr. Ogden, Mr. Hook come in and make sure that all the learning platforms, they're can log in, they can get all that stuff. So a lot of the nuts and bolts that really they're going to need to function on day 1, it still probably is going to be quite a shock to the system the first week of school, especially for the new teachers. So we just want to try and ease their transition a bit. And so Sarah Lewinsik and I have put this together, and we'll also talk to them. And we've created some time for them, since it's a smaller group, to meet with some people that they'll be working with in their own building, whether it's a colleague or an administrator, just to get a little head start on next Tuesday when the kids actually show up, because it'll be a little bit of chaos, I'm sure, but we'll do our best to get them ready, and we're excited to meet them. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So moving along, Mr. Chair, draft goals. I did present my draft goals to the school committee. Essentially, per district requirement, we need 2 to 4 goals for administrator. I have a student learning goal here and 2 professional practice goals. First student learning goal really is all about the SDI. And honestly, since I've been the superintendent, this is starting year 9, we've really focused on the strategy for district improvement, because that really is what it's all about. That's the bang for the buck. That drives teaching and learning in the district. And I don't believe in creating a document, putting it on a shelf, and never revisiting. So this is a living document that we come back to every year, and this is the crux of the work that we do during our admin retreat to ensure that we're providing teachers everything they need for support to improve instructional practices in the classroom. So SDI is my first learning goal. The second learning goal you heard Mr. Woodlock discuss is really transitions. The transitions from TES to TMS and TMS to THS. That is an absolute focus this year, and we will be updating you regularly on strategy that we're taking and everything we're doing to possibly ease that transition for students and families. And the third goal is there's a building outside, and we're still building it, and it's coming along great. It's coming along great, and it's going to be a fantastic gem for this community, hopefully a year from now, 2 years from now, when it's finally done. But that's my third goal, is to make sure that everything goes accordingly with the MSBA project and serving as a liaison for that. So those are my three goals. Historically, what we've done in the past is provided opportunities for people to weigh in. I will say that in the past 7 years, the committee's really supported the goals that I put out there. So we can take action tonight, or we can keep the window open, whatever is the will of the chair and the committee at this time.
If anyone would like to make a motion to approve these this evening, I will accept that motion.
I'll make that motion to approve them this evening.
I'll second.
Any discussion on his goals from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Flanagan.
9B, Mr. Chair, this is a housekeeping item that we do every year. I'm seeking the committee to support us taking the executive session minutes from the last year, send them off to our attorney, Kelly Gonzalez, for her review, her appropriate redaction, and we'll bring those back. Generally, they come back in late October or November for full approval and release.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Messina, Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For signing of bills, 10 bill warrants were presented to the committee tonight. I do have them all back approved. As always, in your drive is the list of warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts. Nothing for signing of payroll tonight. We'll do that at your next meeting. And that is it for finance tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
Welcome.
School committee discussion. Bert, start with you.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome students and staff for a new educational year. I hope it's very successful for all of them.
I think Bert put it well. That's it.
Nothing, thank you.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Yeah, the buildings, they're just about ready. They look really great. I think as usual, our custodial staff has done a wonderful job getting these buildings ready for the students. So I want to thank them for all their hard work over the summer and the very, very hot and humid days that they've had to endure this year. And yes, welcome to everyone back. Hoping that it's another fantastic year here in Tyngsborough.
It's a bittersweet time of year. We're excited to start the school year, but I'm devastated summer's over. So enjoy your last week of summer. We have the town block party this weekend. That's always a great time. So if you're available, come join us there.
1 week from today, those doors open. So everybody enjoy that last week of summer. Don't forget to go out and get your supplies for the first day of school so you're not blindsided. My kids were up my butt a month ago to make sure those were done and squared away. So, but I know not everybody's kids or parents are on top of that. So don't forget to go get those things so you're ready for day one. Enjoy that last week and good luck next Tuesday to the staff and students.
I just want to echo what Mr. Mullins said, because you hit the nail right on the head. We had no access to the middle school essentially for the entire month of July. So the custodial maintenance crew went full bore here, then full bore there, and they got that school ready to go, which was great. Elementary school was chock full of programming all summer long. The custodial crew finally is getting that school ready to go. I know our teachers didn't have all the access to the school this summer that they would have liked, but hats off to the maintenance custodial crew for really burning the midnight hour to get the schools done, so we appreciate that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Just a reminder to anybody watching, we'll have children out at bus stops at 6:40 in the morning and later in the afternoon, so keep an eye out for the kids. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you all had a great summer, And we do not have a need for executive session this evening, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, and have a good night.
Good night.